Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second day of the Africaribbean Trade and Investment Summit here in Bridgetown, Barbados. Of course, the first day had a whole lot of conversations around the key opening presentations about the whole idea of this African Caribbean Trade and Investment Summit. What needs to be done, a handshake across the Atlantic between mainland Africa and this particular region of the islands, the Caribbean states, as it were. But today, the conference and the summit is drilling down into a number of other areas. For example, trade and logistics, what we call air travel, maritime trade between both regions. There are also sessions we expected today on healthcare and life sciences that will focus on coordination between Africa and the Caribbean when it comes to procurement of key vaccines and how to jointly work on production of necessary health and life sciences equipment and medications on the continent as well. Part of what Africaribbean has been promoting since the COVID-19 pandemic. There are a few other discussions on the table as far as trade is concerned under the new AFCFTA. The Secretary General of the AFCFTA, Secretary Kelemene, will be making some very key presentations about how much has been achieved since the AFCFTA was floated over a year ago and the outlook on the progress made so far by the AFCFTA, which will be taking place at the special meeting of the African Union later in November. Then we've got a whole discussion about the small and medium enterprises, by the way, as the basis of moving the AFCFTA and the whole trade and regional integration together between Africa and Caribbean. Remember, Africa is home to hundreds of millions of small and medium enterprises, cottage industries. You find a similar experience here in the Caribbean, in Barbados, and a number of other Caribbean countries that are of African origin. So we've got to discuss trade, we've got to discuss logistics, air travel, no single link between Africa and the Caribbean and vice versa. That has been strongly talked about. But let me just tell you also about the Banking and Financial Services. Republic Bank, which is headquartered here in Barbados, also has done an investment and engagement into Africa, for example. So you've got Republic Bank of Ghana. They said they're going to extend into other African countries. Yesterday, we heard from the chairman of Vista Bank. We're talking about interoperability using the same banking and financial system under the AFCFTA and opening regulations and the borders across banking regulations across the various central banks across Africa to also support this integration partnership and what we call the link, the bridge between Africa and the Caribbean across the Atlantic. That has also been in conversation. The governor of the Caribbean Central Bank was also here. So there's been a whole lot to digest here in terms of the various areas that we have to work between the two regions, in particular institutions that will facilitate that the African Union, the AFCFTA, the Africa Export-Import Bank, and the various agencies of in the Caribbean, such as the Export Barbados, the Invest Barbados, which is a specialized agency. Then you talk about the Caribbean Development Bank, which will also be working together with the AFDB and African Bank. They've got the various government agencies and the private sector themselves that are also angling to see how this new relationship and opening up of trade relations and everything else in between the region and the African continent will come to fruition. Well, here is Frontier Africa Reports reporting on day 2. Tomorrow, we've got a whole lot of grounds to cover as well, as we'll be looking at this very important milestone in the relationship between mainland Africa and, of course, the brothers and sisters across the Atlantic in the land of the Caribbean. I am hosting Namofaye in Barbados for Frontier Africa Reports.